Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart, and you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
What? Okay, well, has this always been a thing? Where have I been?
Hey folks, welcome to the Smacked Raw podcast. I am your host, Kyle Tyson, going solo tonight to give you the AEW Dynamite recap. Normally, we shoot this on Wednesday night live. My bad for it not getting put up right away. I did a bunch of yard work and then did cardio right before Dynamite started, and needless to say, my out-of-shape self felt miserable for the rest of the night and for most of today, to be honest. I am severely out of shape, man. I gotta work at that junk. You guys, is anybody sticking to their New Year's stuff? Like the whole New Year, New Me? Y'all doing that? I didn't start it at the beginning of the year, but man, I think I'm gonna get going. Well, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and help cover Dynamite. This is the follow-up to AEW's, of course, pay-per-view Revolution that has the notorious botched finish. Unfortunately, I mean, it capped off a great evening. I've had some time to reflect. I know on the pay-per-view recap, I said that Revolution, I said maybe it's the worst pay-per-view that they've done. I'm gonna walk that statement back some. I think I was just long. It's long and tired. There was actually a ton of great stuff crammed in there. But I do stand by my statement that it was too long. I think you should cut it down to 3 hours. Maybe like I said, get rid of the Miro and Kip Sabian tag match. And I don't know what else. You guys figure out what you can cut to get it down to 3 hours. Just for me, 4 hours of wrestling, too much, man. Too much. But This was the Dynamite show where we were going to get the explanation on the botched finish, the kayfabe wise, and then we'll see how much it worked. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys that normally you can catch us live on twitch.tv/puttingyouover. We stream live every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays for Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown. We also stream live on Wednesdays for NXT. You can catch that on twitch.tv/Smacked Raw podcast, where Katie and RN host the NXT recaps. If you ever miss a live stream, you can always catch us on YouTube, youtube.com/Smacked Raw podcast. Man, hit the like, subscribe, notification bell. You know what it is by now. Come on, help us out, man. Help us get more viewers, more clicks, maybe monetize this thing someday. I don't know if we're ever going to get monetized. But yeah, it definitely helps us out. And then, of course, you can find us pretty much anywhere the audio version is found. And you can also check us out at WrestlingNewsWorld.com. Bunch of talented writers over there. You guys know the deal now. Go check them out. Read their articles. Support your local writers. They're cool enough to make us the exclusive recap show, so we're always thankful for that. With that being said, let's get into Dynamite, man. Dynamite, awesome follow-up show. I know I sound like a broken record. I sound like a shill. But AEW, man, they tick so many boxes. It's hard to give them a tough grade. I don't think rarely they're ever perfect, but damn, man, they do good stuff. We open the show up with Matt Jackson taking on Rey Fenix. This is kicking off the new feud between Death Triangle and the Young Bucks. Rey Fenix and Nick Jackson had a match of the year contender a while back, and now he has a good match with Matt Jackson. Not as much high flying stuff, more psychology based things. Matt Work and Rey Fenix is back. Overall, I mean, you're going to get a good singles match out of these guys. Rey Fenix ended up winning pinfall with the Phoenix Driver. Kicking off this feud. It really doesn't mean anything that Rey won singles. We're just got to get these guys mixed up. we did get the official explanation from Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. Moxley and Kingston are hanging out in Kingston's house. He's got an open fire on his coffee table. I'd like to think that's just part of his house. Kingston explains that when everything went off, it was anxiety. He blacked out. He was brought back to a time when he was like awaiting trial to go to Rikers Island, which is, I mean, it was, dude, Eddie Kingston can sell, jet skis to people in Alaska. I mean, the guy is an insanely good talker. I thought it was great. I thought it was you summed it up great. They have great chemistry. Moxley and Kingston do. There was a bunch of little bit of joking here and there. I will say though, I know our boy RN, which you can catch on the NXT and SmackDown recaps. RN likes to joke and say that Moxley is just the same character as Dean Ambrose. I'm not gonna lie, this is about the closest I've seen to like the Dean Ambrose character, is when he's just lighthearted and having fun with his buddy. But with that being said, I am excited in the future to see these guys tag team, because take nothing away, both of these guys extremely talented. They obviously have dump trucks worth of chemistry with each other. Only good things could come from Moxley and Kingston. So yeah, we'll keep that rolling. We got a squash match: Cody Rhodes versus Seth Gargas. He beat him with a figure 4 leg lock. After the match, Tony Schiavone interviewing Cody Rhodes, who was interrupted. By the way, that's kind of the theme tonight is interruptions. We had a lot of interruptions tonight. This was the first of many. Cody Rhodes' interview is interrupted by Penta El Zero. He gets up from the Spanish commentary team. He tells Cody to shut up, and then he has Alex Marvez translate that essentially that Penta believes he's 1,000 times better than Cody in the ring, and that it's a shame that he didn't have more to do with Cody, I think, in the face of the Revolution ladder match, because he would have injured that shoulder so bad he wouldn't be able to pick up his newborn baby girl with it, at which point sparks a brawl between the two guys. Very good stuff, man. Very good stuff. Big pull apart. I never knew that I wanted a feud between Cody Rhodes and Penta El Zero, but now I am 100% invested in it. And yeah, it's good. And I do like the idea that it was interrupting Cody's promo and telling him to shut up, because I've kind of been going on about this. I really do believe Cody gets too much. They make Cody out to be like the biggest wrestler. I mean, essentially, it feels like next to Chris Jericho, Cody, it just gets all the pyro, all the TV time, and it doesn't necessarily feel warranted. Like, I feel like, obviously they try to make him up to be a bigger deal than maybe he is. It's just me. I mean, don't get me wrong, Cody's fantastic, but I mean, could use a little bit more subtlety in his presentation. That's really all I'm getting at. So the fact that Penta is out there like, shut up, Cody, felt kind of nice. Not that I hate him, not that I hate Cody Rhodes, but it felt kind of nice. Pull him, knock him down a peg. Something that did not feel nice, this feud: Miro, Kip Sabian, Chuck Taylor, and Orange Cassidy will not die. Chuck was even saying it too, man. These guys have been fighting for too long. Which, by the way, why do you want another match? Why? It's just like one of those things. Is like, at this point, if you win this match, does it undo you getting your ass beat for like the last several months? It's not gonna pull Trent out of his injury. It's not really needed. But essentially, Chuck says, we'll do this match. We'll have the ring, outside the ring will be lined with arcade cabinets that can be used, I guess, as weapons. And if Chuck loses, he'll be Miro's butler forever. So yeah, we get that. Honestly, this gets the least amount of hype out of me, out of the show. Yeah, I'm just everybody just needs to move on. Miro needs to break up with Kip. Miro needs to be his own man, be a monster. Chuck and Orange Cassidy, man, you guys can do anything with these guys. You can get great matches out of them, great comedy. You don't really need this pointless blood feud. I don't think it's doing anybody any favors. Coming back from commercial, Tony Schiavone introduces It's Sting! Once again, though, interrupted as they were trying to talk, about the street fight that they had at Revolution. Sting is interrupted by, actually, of all people, Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts, saying that they're not given any time, so they're going to be taking Sting's time. They go ahead and kind of just bounce as quickly as they arrive, setting up what appears to be a feud between Lance Archer and Sting that I want zero part of. I went on this. I said it before, man. I'm cool. I'm cool with Sting now. Like we got the shit out of him. But I mean, I get it. In his mind, that was probably his comeback match. Now he needs to go on a run. Now he needs to have several feuds. Not really for it, man. Not for it. I love you, Sting. You're a legend. Have all the respect in the world. You're 64 years old, man. I don't need to see Sting matches. I really don't. I think you offer so much more outside of in-ring competition. Personally speaking, it's just not for me, man. It really isn't. Coming back, Cutie Marshall, Lee Johnson interview. Cutie admits that, he just lost his temper in the tag team battle royal or Royal Rumble, whatever it was. Says we'll get to it later. But he says, first up, Lee Johnson having a match with All Ego, Ethan Page, making his singles debut on AEW Dynamite. I don't know if it was just me. I saw on Twitter, looked like the audio, we were picking up a basketball game for like the entire match, from the promo through the entrances through a commercial break. You definitely could hear like a basketball match going on through the audio. It was completely distracting from the match. So forgive me for not having the most notes on that. I do know that Ethan Page won by pinfall with a crucifix powerbomb. Post-match, he was putting the boots to Johnson. Cutie Marshall made no move to break it up. Instead, he walked off, and Dustin Rhodes had to come out for the save. So Cutie and Dustin are going to have a feud. It is what it is, man. Just throw it on Dark or something. But yeah, we'll have to see where that goes. We get an interview with Hangman Page. How's he spending Matt Hardy's money? He bought himself a zero-turn lawnmower. In which case, also all of the Dark Order come out. They all celebrate. They jump on the lawnmower with him to go grab a beer. Except for Five, though. Of course, Five. He gets left in the dust. I got a question about that, though. Five is the butt of the joke, right? Does this turn into a story? Or is this just going to be... I mean, I know it's a running joke. Being the Elite, I mean, they tell Five to F off every single week, So, I mean, I get it's the butt of the joke. I wonder, though, if it'll develop into more. I don't know. I will say this, though. Alan Angels, Five, fantastic in the ring. Check him out on Dark. The guy can go. That is for sure. Coming back, we get... ready for our first official interview with Christian Cage. Once again, interruption. Out comes Kenny Omega with his dancers, Don Callis, the Good Brothers. Everybody's out there. So this is the only part where I can't decide whether I liked this or not. So a lot of AEW fans kind of has been given AEW goodwill, not holding it against them over the big botch, and Kenny Omega and Don Callis used that to get heat, which was pretty interesting, but I mean, annoying as well, man. It was annoying as hell. But I mean, I guess that's them in character. They said essentially they cannot confirm nor deny whether or not the false explosion was intentional, and that, it was a win-win. Either A, they blow them both up and now they're dead, and that's cool. Or B, they took away John's, his big exit going out with a bang. They took away Eddie Kingston's, heroic gesture. So either way, it's a win for Don Callis and Kenny Omega. Either way, it was annoying. At one part, they do the countdown. Eddie Kingston's out there. They're mocking him while he's out there. They mock him with the countdown. There's this great bit, though. Kenny Omega drops to the ground and tells Don Callis to 69 him to jump on top of him, mocking, of course, Eddie Kingston at that point. Afterwards, brawl goes on, brawl breaks out. You have Moxley come out. They kind of clear the ring. Omega's laid out in the ring by himself. Out comes Christian at this point. So this seems to be the first feud with Christian is against Kenny Omega, man. And where do I start with this? Where do I start? My initial reaction is fantastic. I know on the surface level, ex-WWE guy going straight for a belt is low-hanging fruit for people to criticize. But also, if Christian's slogan is outwork everybody, this is a perfect chance to do it, is get him in the match with Kenny Omega. And not to mention, this is probably going to play out to like a 6-man. I think next week they set up a match between the Good Brothers and Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. But I believe this will quickly turn on to a 3-on-3 feud, throwing in Christian and, of course, Kenny Omega in that mix too as well. But, yeah, good stuff. I'm not going to lie, man. I was getting really irritated, though, with the heels mocking the botched finish. But I mean, I guess you had to have a story come from both ends. It would be weird if they came out and ignored it. So it is what it is. We go from there. We have a 6-woman tag match. Britt Baker, DMD, Nyla Rose, and Maki Ito taking on Shida, Ryo Mizunami, and Thunder Rosa. Fantastic beginning to this brawl. You have Maki Ito singing her entrance while everyone brawls, and she just keeps singing even with going a cappella. Talk about a perfect way to establish a character outside of the classic of, like, look how good they are in the ring. Look how many matches they win. They're building Ito's character just fantastically, man. She's a ton of fun to watch. Even with eating the L and losing, like she did here. Thunder Rosa ends up pinning her with, what was this move called? The Emerald Flosion onto Ito. Ito still comes out like a star. Her character just outweighs the outcome of matches. Now, how long you can sustain that, not necessarily sure. I don't have a figure in my mind, like how I could stay into a character like this, even though if they were to lose 100% of the time, I'm pretty sure that would get stale, but I don't even think it's going to go down the road. I have the utmost confidence. And it was also announced that Maki Ito is going to have her first match on AEW Dark Elevate on Monday. She is in the main event taking on Riho, who I've learned there's already a backstory. These two have faced off multiple times in their careers, and Maki Ito has never been able to beat her. So that's going to be a great story to tell here. That's already built-in feud right out the gate to get you invested in this character. And it's also weird to picture Ito as a heel. Even though she is a heel, she's like super likable. After the match, Britt Baker attacked Thunder Rosa, put her in the lockjaw. So we've got all these feuds going. It feels like the person who got overshadowed the most was your women's champ, Hikaru Shida. She didn't really have that much going on here. I hope she doesn't have a feud coming up with Nyla Rose. I'm done with that feud. It's one of those ones that's just overdone. But we'll have to wait and see. We go back. We see Matt Hardy reflecting on his loss with Private Party. He says that we need to bring in more income, so he is taking on more services. This is one of the first stumbles of the night, in my opinion. Butcher, Blade, and the Bunny. I'm really tired of them playing second fiddle henchmen, especially when the Butcher is so talented. I mean, all three really are, but I mean, to me personally, I think the standout is the Butcher. So it's kind of like a misstep here, in my opinion, having these guys kind of just play background characters. Think about like when Drew McIntyre came up to Raw. Not saying that these guys are on the same caliber as McIntyre, but when he came up, he played henchman for like a year, 2 years maybe. He just kept playing henchman for people like Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin, and it's like, no, there's a lot more talent there than what they're utilizing. I kind of feel the same here. But yeah, speaking of a lot of talent, Darby Allin and Scorpio Sky. All right. First off, good match. Very inventive spots. You have Darby going for a tope. Suicida getting countered into a cutter on the floor. Looked devastating. And then Sky also countered a coffin drop into a power bomb, which was nuts. Besides the initial back and forth in the beginning of the match, it really was this thing of Sky dominating Darby. And for Darby to kind of squeak out a win with an inside cradle. I'm not really a fan of that in-ring style where your champion eats so much of the offense. He gets beat up. Darby is often like that. Anytime that he's in the ring with a bigger guy, go back. There's a funny highlight video of Darby in his match with Brian Cage. I think it was like a Street Fighter or something. Anyways, yeah, Darby just gets destroyed the whole match and then pulls off like a crucifix pin. I'm not really a fan of that style. I like your champions to have more offense, be able to deliver more. But then again, I understand his size hinders him. You have to make the match believable. I don't know, man. Like I said, I can only kind of like speak on what doesn't resonate with me, but how to fix it. I don't know. But anyways, I was happy to see that after the match, the official heel turn of Scorpion Sky, we've seen this coming for several weeks now. He wraps up Darby Allin's ankle, which was injured previously in the match, making him actually tap out, which was a good visual. I really hope this feud elevates Sky to win that belt. The man, one of the most talented people on the roster, criminally underutilized in AEW, maybe the most underutilized talent they have thus far. So yeah, I'm ready for him to come up, win the belt. Darby is such a captivating character. He's like one of those people that doesn't need a belt to feel like a big deal, in my opinion. I mean, I'm glad he won a belt to get that legitimacy to him, but he doesn't feel like somebody that needs to hold on to that belt to feel like a big guy, So hopefully there will change hands soon. All right. And then last up, the final segment of the evening, the big swerve, man. I'm telling you, when AEW, just when you think you've got them figured out, man, they know how to pull a swerve on you. So this is the War Council for the Inner Circle. And my prediction was that MJF is going to recommend new leadership and is going to turn on Chris Jericho. While they're in the ring, Sammy Guevara comes out. Of course, Chris Jericho's running him down while he's out there, and Sammy pleads with him, just watch the video. We get a backstage video of MJF addressing Hager and Santana and Ortiz, saying it's time to turn on Chris Jericho and to have a new leader. Cut the head off of the snake. Chris Jericho sees this. Him and Sammy square up to the rest of Inner Circle, who stalk him down. As they approach Chris Jericho, swerve, they turn. Chris Jericho tells MJF, like, you think that we don't talk? If there's any faction in AEW that seems like they're a family and communicate frequently. It is Inner Circle, to be fair. So yeah, they threaten to beat up MJF. Jericho officially fires him. MJF, while holding back tears, tells Chris Jericho it was never his intention to take over the Inner Circle because he was too busy building his own faction. The lights go out. They come back. Standing behind Inner Circle, you have Wardlow, FTR, Tully Blanchard, and Shawn Spears, which is nice to see that we're going to be using Shawn Spears now. They come out. They beat down everybody. Sammy's head goes through a chair. You have Santana and Ortiz. They're handcuffed. They're pile drived by FTR. I mean, everybody's beat down. Chris Jericho's busted open. And then ultimately, Jericho is dragged up the ramp and powerbombed off the stage through a couple tables. And that is how Dynamite goes off air. Only in a faction of heels can MJF still manage to turn heel. Good God, man. Fantastic stuff. What a swerve, man. What a faction. Let's break this down. You got MJF, who at this point feels ruthless, very well established. His character was very stoic during this whole thing. He wasn't being loud and obnoxious and over. No, he looked very menacing, very present in all of this. Very threatening indeed. You've got FTR, who just smash mouth tag team, one of the best and rightfully deserving such a heavy storyline. Tully Blanchard in there, who's been doing fantastic work with them. And then, of course, a re-emerging, revitalized Shawn Spears. So I think that's one of the biggest wins in all of this, too, is how to make Shawn Spears relevant. Hopefully, down the road, he just isn't the guy relegated to eat the pins. But yeah, man, what a show. It was, in my opinion, fantastic bounce back to the stumble that was Revolution's ending. Man, it was good. It was really good. I really can't say much more than that. I'm excited to see this faction warfare between the two. I think this means Sammy Guevara is back in the Inner Circle. That makes all the sense in the world to me. Especially because he didn't really burn any bridges on his way out. You know, he didn't attack or get attacked by Santana and Ortiz or Hager. He just said he was done, which is the perfect way to do that, man. They really thought ahead on this one, folks. So yeah, kudos to AEW putting on another incredible show. What parts are you excited to see? Personally, I'm most intrigued right now, Christian Cage and Kenny Omega, to see what kind of chemistry they have in the ring. I think that's going to be fucking awesome, to be honest with you. But if you liked what you heard tonight, maybe consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/SmackDrawPodcast. Get you some stickers, t-shirts. Upcoming episode of UWO this Sunday. What does that fall on? It's only a couple days away. Sunday the 14th. You subscribe, you have a tier, you can go ahead, record yourself on video, giving your unpopular wrestling opinion. We'll feature it on the show. The panelists will debate over it. It's always a fun time. So yeah, consider supporting us there. Otherwise, like, share, comment, all that fun stuff. Leave a rating and review. We always appreciate it. And like always, until next time, y'all have a good one.